2 coffee mugs on the counter. The house is quiet, except for the hum of the fridge and the faint sound of a neighbor's dog. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to reignite romance in marriage, not by becoming different people, but by remembering the spark you already built. If you've ever wondered where that early magic went, stay close. This is where it returns. Picture the 2 of you on a simple first date redo. Same diner booth, same jukebox playing a song you forgot you loved, same summer evening warmth floating through a cracked window. You laugh about how nervous you were, how the server mixed up your orders, and it somehow felt perfect. The memory lands like a soft lantern glow, and for a moment you feel the ease of being new to each other again. Welcome to Whispered Hearts, English, where we slow the world down long enough for love to catch its breath. Here, we protect the vulnerable parts of your story and help you step back into them with courage. If this is your first time with us, settle in. If you've been here before, you already know we keep things honest, gentle, and real. But there's a quiet truth we need to face before the spark grows. Early passion comes naturally because everything is unfamiliar and your brain loves new. Routines are good for building a life, yet routine can gently sand the shine right off a connection. You're not broken if things feel steady instead of thrilling. Your life simply got busy, and busy crowds out wonder. Here's the small shift many couples miss, the one that flips you from roommates back to teammates. Passion doesn't just visit people who wait, it visits people who design for it. When you treat wonder like a habit, you give it a front door key instead of hoping it crawls through a window. Have you noticed moments when planning even a tiny surprise made the whole week feel lighter? Research shows we crave novelty and shared focus, and we soothe with safety and rhythm. The trick is weaving novelty into the safety you've built, so the spark has a place to land. When responsibility grows, desire hides behind lists and laundry. But if you feed your days with intentional joy, that hiding place gets a little less comfortable. Let's start small, because small is sustainable. Think of one old place that still holds a story for the 2 of you. It might be a park bench where you talked for hours, or the grocery aisle where you made each other laugh over the wrong kind of cereal. Return there on purpose, and don't rush. What's one familiar spot you could revisit this week? Before we widen the circle, a gentle teaser. Romance often looks like flowers and reservations, but the strongest kind often lives in plain sight. It's in the way you say their name across a busy room. It's in the way your hand finds theirs during a movie you've both seen 10 times, simply because touching says, "I'm here." Try the surprise that needs no reservation, a handwritten note, placed where only they will find it. Tuck it into a jacket pocket or slide it under a coffee mug. Keep it short and say something specific you admire. How they carry the stress of the day without letting it spill on the people they love. How their laugh is still your favorite sound. How would it feel to find a note like that tomorrow morning? There's another everyday doorway back into warmth, learning something side by side. Not big, not expensive, just new enough that you both get to be beginners again. Take a weekend morning class in pottery, or try a 2-person online dance lesson in your living room while the pasta water boils. Which new skill could you both try for 1 hour this month? And when time and budget allow, trade the epic getaway for a micro-adventure. Drive an hour to a small town you've never walked through. Split a pastry at a bakery that smells like warm butter and cinnamon. Wander the main street, point out old brick details, Take a photo in front of a mural as if you were tourists in your own state. If you had 3 hours and $40, where would your curiosity take you? Before we keep going, I want to say something that matters, especially if your heart is tender right now. You're not late. You're right on time to rebuild something beautiful. And if this feels like a soft place to land, whispered hearts. English is here as a quiet corner where you belong, where your effort counts, and your love story isn't judged for being human. When was the last time you gave yourselves credit for how far you've come? Here's a truth that helps on the hard weeks. Attention is the oxygen of connection. When you give each other even 10 minutes of focused, face-to-face time, no phones, no multitasking, you remind your nervous systems that this is a safe home base. Set a simple evening cue, like tea on the porch or a short walk after dinner, and let that be your daily reset. What time tonight could you protect for a 10-minute check-in? Bring play into the ordinary. Leave a silly doodle on the whiteboard, invent a kitchen game that ends with a small prize, or start a secret playlist of songs that feel like flirtation. It doesn't have to be clever to be effective. It just needs to be shared. What's a tiny game the two of you could start and carry through the week? And now, a deeper layer. The spark returns faster when your home feels emotionally warm. That doesn't mean you agree on everything. It means you agree on how to repair when something stings. Next time there's a snag, try this. When that happened, I felt brushed aside. I want us to understand each other better. Is now a good time? Then listen, reflect back what you heard, and choose one small action to make tomorrow easier. What would a small repair look like in your world? Before we shift, here's a gentle tease. Romance isn't only about adding new things. Sometimes it's about subtracting the noise that keeps you from noticing the person you love. There's power in quiet, and quiet is free. Create a no-scroll zone for part of the evening. Put both phones on the mantel and let the living room breathe again. Light a candle, turn on a warm lamp, and let the shadows soften the edges of a long day. Sit close enough that your knees touch, and let the silence be a bridge instead of a wall. Could you try a 20-minute no-scroll window tonight? A lot of couples rediscover closeness through slow, gentle movement. You don't need a dance floor. A kitchen works fine. Put on a song from when you first met, sway by the sink, and laugh when you step on each other's toes. That little moment can make the dishes feel less like a chore and more like choreography. Which song would you pick first? Season has a say in how love feels, so invite the weather in as a co-writer. In autumn, walk through a neighborhood where the leaves sound like paper under your shoes, and talk about 3 things you want to learn this year. In spring, let the scent of rain from a screen door be your soundtrack as you dream up a weekend ritual. Which season makes you feel most hopeful right now? When winter leans in, claim the cozy. Hot cocoa, heavy socks, and a stack of library books spread across the couch can become your weekly tradition. When summer arrives, chase golden hour light to a park and share a simple picnic. Berries, cheese, and something sparkling in plastic cups. You're not performing romance. You're building a rhythm where romance can breathe. Which seasonal ritual could be yours? Let's circle back to the first date redo, because it holds more than nostalgia. It's a blueprint for curiosity. Ask the questions you asked when you were new. What are you excited about lately? What did you learn this week that surprised you? What's a dream you haven't said out loud in a while? Which question would you love to be asked tonight? Here's a quick reality check that many couples find helpful. You will not always feel in sync, and that's okay. What matters is that you signal, "I want us to find our way back." A 5-word bridge works wonders. I'm on your side here. When you hear it, your whole body loosens. When could you use that sentence this week? You may be thinking, this all sounds lovely, but the schedule is packed. That's fair. So choose one habit stack. Attach a small romance gesture to something you already do. If you brew coffee at 7 a.m., write the note at 6:58. If you walk the dog after dinner, share a 3-minute gratitude walk where each of you names one thing about the other that made the day better. Which habit could carry a small spark starting tomorrow? There's magic in planning a surprise date night with a twist. Not extravagant, just unexpected. Maybe it's a board game cafe after work, or a drive-in movie with a blanket in the trunk, or tickets to a minor league baseball game where the whole stadium feels like a friendly backyard. Imagine the look on their face when you say, "Wear comfy shoes, I've got a plan." What tiny surprise would you enjoy planning? Shared creation builds a different kind of closeness. Cook a new recipe together. Homemade pizza with toppings you draft like a team. Make a photo wall of your favorite moments from the last year, printed on cheap cardstock and hung with clothespins and string lights. Frame a postcard from a town you dream of visiting. Which small creation could you both finish in one evening? And yes, notes matter more than we think. They store warmth for the hours when you're apart. Try variety. A sticky note on a steering wheel, a folded card under a pillow, a message tucked into a lunch bag. Keep a shared notebook where you trade short entries back and forth, like a quiet conversation that never ends. Where could your next note hide? Before we move to the heart of emotional intimacy, a one-line nudge. The best gestures are the ones you'll repeat. Consistency beats grand gestures every time. Emotional intimacy in marriage grows where honesty meets gentleness. It shows up when you say the tender thing without making the other person carry your worry. It shows up when you share the fun thing without assuming they'll say no. It shows up when you state your needs cleanly. "I miss you. I'd love a little more time. Just us." What's one need you could ask for kindly? Connection deepens through shared experiences that stretch you slightly together. Volunteer for a few hours at a local event. Take an afternoon to browse used bookstores and read first sentences aloud until one makes you both grin. Try a scenic road trip on a Sunday, rolling the windows down and letting the wind turn small talk into something softer. Which shared experience would refresh your spirit? Repair, as promised, is where the real trust grows. When voices get sharp, pause and reset your posture. Shoulders down, jaw unclenched. Try speaking with specifics. When the plans changed, I felt thrown. I want us to align more. Listen for the part you can own, then offer a doable step. Next time, I'll text sooner, even if I don't have the full update. How do you like to be approached when something felt off? Let's add one more everyday practice that keeps marriage exciting without feeling like a project. Create a weekly wonder swap. Each of you chooses one small thing the other wouldn't think to try. A new trail, a new cafe, a new podcast, a new board game, and you trade. This builds novelty and respect at the same time. What would your next wonder swap include? A brief, warm check-in can be playful and connecting. On your commute home, send a one-line message that isn't about logistics. Saw a red cardinal today and wished you were there. The sky looked like peach sherbet at lunch. I found a song that sounds like Saturday. Those lines change the tone before you even walk through the door. What's a small text you could send tomorrow? As you add these sparks, keep an eye on energy. No one thrives when the calendar is packed edge to edge. Choose a monthly nothing night on purpose. Pajamas early, phones away, a favorite movie you've seen enough times to talk through the best scenes. Quiet can be connective when it's chosen, not resigned. When might your first nothing night be? Novelty matters, but so does admiration. Make it a habit to name the invisible work your partner does. The lunches made, the rides given, the emails handled, the appointments remembered. Admiration is the soil where desire grows. What's one unseen thing your partner did this week that you could thank them for out loud? If words come hard, borrow moments. In the crisp winter air, breathe together outside for a minute before heading in, letting your faces wake up in the chill. In the soft blue of a summer evening, sit on the porch and count 3 things you can hear: the hum of traffic, a sprinkler ticking, a distant train, and share one hope for the month ahead. Which borrowed moment sounds right for you? Your home can hold little rituals that feel like signposts. The late afternoon candle you light when the workday ends, the Saturday song that starts your errands, the Sunday afternoon nap where the dog curls at your feet. These rituals tell your body, we are safe, we belong. Which ritual could you start this week? As we come toward the crest of this story, remember that romance is not a contest. It's not measured against anyone else's feed. It's measured against how your own shoulders drop when you feel seen, and how your eyes brighten when you feel chosen. What helps you feel chosen today? One more gentle curiosity, hook for your heart. Sometimes the quickest path back to warmth is the question you haven't asked in years. What would make you feel cherished right now? Then, listen without fixing. Let their answer teach you how to love them even better. What answer do you hope you'll hear? We're almost ready for your challenge, and it's beautifully simple. Choose one action that takes 15 minutes or less. Put it on the calendar like a promise. The more ordinary the day, the more surprising the joy. What's one thing you'll do this week to surprise your partner? Share in the comments. Here's the challenge in motion. If you wrote a note this morning, plan a tiny adventure for Saturday. If you planned the micro-adventure, schedule a 10-minute porch talk the next day. If you danced in the kitchen tonight, text a line of admiration tomorrow. Small stacks become sturdy bridges. Which stack will you start? As you try these ideas, remember to pause for gratitude. Gratitude doesn't erase the hard parts. It simply makes more room for light. A whispered thank you at the right moment can feel like a sunrise. Where could gratitude fit into your evening routine? Thank you for spending this time with Whispered Hearts. English. You deserve a connection that feels alive and kind. A home that welcomes you both after long days. If our words helped you feel hopeful, carry that hope into one small action today. What will you choose? In the end, love is not a flash of lightning you wait for. It's a candle you tend, a front porch light you switch on even before the car turns into the driveway. You've built a life together. Now you're choosing to let it glow. And when you wonder where to start, remember this promise. You can reignite romance in marriage, one ordinary, beautiful moment at a time.